Good morning on this Thursday, February 16th, morning time, 4:45. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Yes, it is Little Friday, but on a serious note, we do have some active weather that is pulling through the area all night long. We've had issues with some heavy rain. There's been some flooding issues in a couple of places, and we've had some strong thunderstorms that have built over the area and still are ongoing this morning. Let's take a look at those with the radar. And here is the radar as of 4:45, as I mentioned, as I'm recording this podcast. Pretty active thunderstorms over the area. These are not severe. We did have a few severe thunderstorm warnings a little bit earlier this morning, but as you can see, this has mostly become a rain event. The heaviest rain settling right over south central Kentucky and right up the Interstate 65. There are some individual cells here that are pretty hefty, but other than that, I'm not seeing any severe weather. The thunder rolls, as the song says. And as we get a lot of lightning, there's a lot of energy here, but it's the kind that's producing heavier rainfall. And therefore, you get that almost eternal rolling thunder that happens when you get a lot of water up there. And it just, any lightning strike, it just reverberates through all that water. And then it just comes pouring down. Already, I'm sure that there are places approaching an inch of rain just from the overnight thunderstorms. Now, we'll note this just back to the west of us. There is a tornado warning that is back toward Paris, Tennessee. It looks like it's for Weakley County, Henry County until 5:30. Radar indicated rotation back toward Cottage Grove or Paris, Tennessee, moving northeast at 40. And then there's another tornado warning. That one is back toward Trenton, Tennessee, for parts, again, of Weakley County, Gibson, and Henry County. All of that in Tennessee, and it's moving off to the northeast. Now, will these storms still have that rotation with them? Actually, all of these storms have that rotation because we've got surface winds going one direction, we've got upper winds crossing in another direction, and that causes the spin in the atmosphere. That doesn't mean you're going to get a tornado. That doesn't mean that we're in the throes of a tornado type situation. But as the day progresses and more of these storms start just rolling in here, it is possible that we could be under, and we are under, a severe weather threat and a possible tornado threat. So that's something that I'm keeping a close eye on as we go through the day. Now let's take a look at the rest of the maps here, wherever they went. I had them right here. What happened to them? Okay, I guess I got to do it the old-fashioned way. And let me apologize for yesterday. I didn't realize until everything was done that when I broke away from this picture that you see, it also took away my audio. And many of you said, hey, thanks for showing us the graphics bigger, but then we couldn't hear what you were saying. That's my bad. I didn't realize that that would happen, but now I do. I won't make that mistake again. Well, I probably will, but it's just, I realized what the problem was. So hopefully that won't happen today. Here's a look at the next 10 days as we stay kind of in, this active weather mode. It is going to come crashing down tonight. As soon as late tonight, early tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and think you're in a different world from what we're getting right now, which is, I don't know if you can hear it, but the rain is coming down heavy at my house here at 4:51 a.m. 68, close to 70 today. I think that's where we're going to top out early. And then as the cold front approaches, and it's going to come through in the afternoon and evening, that's when the temperatures are going to come tumbling down into the low 30s tonight. and early tomorrow morning. Yes, that big of a drop in temperature, it's going to take place sometime this evening and early tomorrow morning. And when you wake up tomorrow morning around this time, it's going to be like, whoa, that's a big change. And then we're only going to get up to about 40 tomorrow. And look at that, 23 for a low temperature Friday night into Saturday morning. But we do recover back to 50 on Saturday. And then you see, here we go again, climbing right back up into the upper 50s, low 60s, mid to upper 60s, and 70 again on Thursday. How about that? Then it follows with another cool down. Not cold, but cool down. Now, tomorrow, I'll tell you, tomorrow will be, I would say, cold. It's going to be coldish anyway. And certainly tomorrow night with that low of 23, it's going to feel cold. It is going to be cold. But we don't stay there long. The days are getting longer, nights getting shorter. And naturally, as we get closer to spring, we're going to have these short bursts of colder air. And then we go right back into the more moderated temperatures and a little bit warmer, milder temperatures through time. All right, let's take a look at the current temperatures as we get close to 5 a.m., almost there. Temperatures very mild, even warm for this time of the year. In the 60s, all across the state of Kentucky, everybody pretty equal. There's some 50s out east of us, but everybody is in the 60s this morning, some upper 50s. I'm curious about rainfall, so let's take a look at rainfall for the past 24 hours. Okay, so far here in Bowling Green and Warren County, about a third of an inch of rain, a half inch of rain in Morgantown or Butler County, 6/10 of an inch of rain over in Todd County. Look at Monroe County, almost an inch of rain. That's why I'm saying there's a few places that's already approaching an inch or well over an inch, and that's mostly Western Kentucky. Let's see, that is Marshall County, the community of Benton, and an inch and 2/10 there. You get, where is this? That looks like maybe Hopkins. Yeah, okay, Madisonville, almost that much, an inch and 1900. So you see back, look at way back here, is that, that's right on Ballard County, 1.86 inches of rain past 24 hours. That's a lot of rain. And some of that heavier rain now is moving east, and we're getting rain running over some of the same places this morning. So I would be careful if you're going into work to watch for ponding of water on the roadways, standing water. Hydroplaning is going to be easily done. If you're going the speed limit on the interstate or the parkways, don't do that. Back it off about 10, 15 miles per hour so you don't hydroplane. That's always a problem. People think they can still go 70, 75 or so on the interstates and parkways when it's raining like this, and you just can't. I mean, it only takes a little bit of water to lose control, and that's why we hear about so many accidents when it rains, because people are going too fast for the rain, even though the speed limit is what it is. You don't need to go the speed limit today with all this water standing around on the roadways. All right, let's take a look at the severe weather threat, and I'll break it down for you. It's still there. That's a level 3 out of 5 enhancement. Third on the list. You go marginal, that's the dark green. Yellow, that's the slight risk. And the level 3, that orange, is enhanced risk. So the enhanced risk will continue through today because we're anticipating a second round of severe thunderstorms this afternoon, and these could be more potent. Now, if there's any good news to pass along about this, is that the instability factor, and I talked about this a few days ago, is lowering just a bit. In other words, it does appear that we're going to keep a canopy of clouds around the area today which should limit instability. That's not a guarantee, because if any sunshine comes through, kind of all bets are off, and we could have a very rough and active afternoon once the cold front comes through. Damaging winds is really still the primary threat, more than a tornado threat. Damaging straight line winds seems to be the biggest threat, followed by heavy rain and even large hail, because we've got, as you saw in the 10-day blender, that colder air is just going to come punching in here later tonight and early tomorrow morning. And with the cold front coming through, I mean, there's enough cold air up here aloft. Once it comes down, it could cause some hail to come down with it. So it's going to be one of those touch and go situations that we'll continue to have to monitor as we go through the day. But that level 3 enhanced risk is still there on the table. And that's because we still have the cold front to come through, and that's going to be later on this afternoon. Let's take a look at that. Here's the surface map, and we'll go through the next several days, including today, with everything that's coming our direction. So here we are right now with the showers and the thunderstorms that is moving through the area. Now, this area of rain and thunderstorm activity is really the first punch. The second punch is not until we get the cold front, which is back here to the west. That's going to come through this afternoon. And then we have the low pressure system you can see right here, just sitting right to the west of us. So as that comes punching in, we'll have a few hours toward late morning to about midday. Here's the time. Yeah, that's about the time that we'll start to see some of the secondary activity and more of a line of thunderstorms coming through later on. So that's what we're going to have to watch. If we get any sunshine between then or now and then, like I said, all bets are off. We're going to have to pay attention to that. Here we go toward late morning into midday. You see the scattered showers, thunderstorms. They're only going to briefly back off just a little bit, but the good news is that the models continue to show cloud cover and occasional rain. So that's going to keep the lid, so to speak, on instability. It won't allow the sun to come through for an amount of time, so that we get a lot of surface heating, we get a lot of convective energy, and then it's boom, here's everything happening in the afternoon. Now that may be possible a little bit further south, where the front starts to come through. You can see some of those storms lining up there ahead of the front, and some of those could be supercell in nature, and that could be an issue. Strong storms are still going to continue this morning, and until we get the cold front through here, that's going to be the case. So let's advance toward midday and then to the afternoon. There you see the better line of thunderstorms as the cold front just about makes its way through. It's a little bit slower now than what it was looking like earlier. Here's our low pressure system, and then the front slides in this afternoon. Now the colder air is going to wait just a little bit. As you can see, the colder air here there's the 540 line. It's behind the system. But once it starts doing this wrapping around, that's the colder air that's going to start coming in. So I know you see this snow up here in the Great Lakes. None of that is really going to materialize for us. It's just going to stay pretty well to the north of us. So I'm not too concerned about that. There may be a couple of places where you see a little bit, and I'll show you that as I advance forward. Here we go into the afternoon. Now, with the system drawing in some of that colder air, you can see the transition north of us of some of that snow to freezing rain and sleet. But that's way up in northern Indiana, up toward Gary, up toward Detroit. That's the colder air coming in. But for us, the cold front looks to come through, and there it is. like, let's say about 6 or 7 o'clock in that general area, give or take a few hours. There's the low that is going to move right across central and southern Indiana, north of Kentucky, north of the Ohio River, and there are the thunderstorms out ahead of it. These are the ones we'll be concerned with producing damaging winds and hail, and maybe even a small tornado threat. But if we can keep the clouds in here today and very little sun coming through, I think we may just get by without having a tornado threat. And here we go into tonight, early tomorrow, and there comes the cold air. Notice it is spilling in big time here, but I don't see a whole lot of snow. But look at the winds. Look at these equal lines of pressure. That means very windy. And even tonight, early tomorrow, wind chills are going to be in the 20s. We're going to drop to the low 30s tonight, wind chills in the 20s. Like I said, tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up to a very different atmosphere, a very different world. There's a few flurries. You see them there trying to fly by, but not much. And then look at this. We warm right back up. Let me go to that end graphic. Let me get rid of this. And look, the 540 line is, here we are right there. The 540 line, the 32-degree line is below us. But then you start to see the warmer air starting to take over here from the south. And that's what's coming as we get into the weekend. We're only going to be one day or so on Friday, tomorrow, cold. Then we warm right back up as we get into the rest of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and sunshine all weekend. How about that? So if you can live with one day being just kind of really chilly, then we'll recover pretty quickly after that. All right, I want to do one more. I'm just looking at one more shot of the radar here before I go. And it's just after 5 a.m. Let's do, because I'm looking at some of these warnings out of Tennessee. And I want to make sure we're not missing anything there. No, they still have those couple of tornado warnings that are in effect. Whoops. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay. So nothing new as far as warnings for southern Kentucky. Still raining, still thundering, big rolling thunder. That's going to continue through the morning. And you can see all of this back here coming our direction. So we still have plenty more rain to go. Watch for standing water on the roadways this morning. Severe weather threat. I think it's going to ramp up a little bit more as we get into late morning and into midday. And then by afternoon, the cold front comes in and we can calm this down and be done with it. All right, I'm headed back to the radio station after being gone a couple of days, but I'm back on the air this morning within the hour. So I'll see you there. You can follow with the latest weather bulletins live and in real time and instantly. If you tune your radio to SAM 100.7, even if I'm talking or playing music or commercials, it'll break right in and tell you what's going on as far as weather bulletins. And if I need to do more live updates or video updates, I'll do that certainly. But let's hope that the clouds hold down the instability and we don't have to worry about that later on. But keep your weather radios on, keep your phones on, just in case. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the radio.